Hi, my name's Anthony McIntosh. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Little Athletics Victoria. The purpose of this clip is to provide information to parents and athletes around the implementation of Little Athletics Australia's new age group rule commencing in season 18-19 and the implications for Little Athletics Victoria, for centres, for regions, for parents and for athletes. So what does the age group change? Well, it's proposed to change the date used to determine the age group of an athlete, which is currently the 30th of September, and to change that to the 31st of December every year. So what will this change mean? Well, in the 18-19 season, any athlete born between 1 October and 31 December will advance two age groups from the age group that they were in for the 17-18 season. No, they'll advance one age group as per normal. So why is Little Athletics Victoria supporting this change? Well, let's start with parents and athletes. LAVic age groupings will better align with other athletic competitions such as schools and Athletics Victoria. Athletes will compete with the same age group across most prominent children's athletics competitions. Henceforth, the alignment of age group determination date addresses one of the discrepancies that currently exists in this space. Will pave the way for further alignment in terms of weights, measures and distances. In terms of athlete development, the development of athletes and by extension their enjoyment of the sport is better served when the transition between athletics competitions is more clear and straightforward. And on a broader note, Little Athletics remains committed along with senior athletics organisations to attain a one-sport approach to athletics so as to grow and progress the sport of athletics for all ages and abilities across Australia. In addition, the one-sport approach potentially opens up Australian Sports Commission funding opportunity to Little Athletics not currently available. These can be invested in areas vitally needed in our sport such as coaching, mentoring and officiating resources and centre development. An aligned sport is a sport that's much easier to administer. The conducting of athletics competitions is facilitated when the major athletic competitions are aligned. This will be the case for event organisers, officials, coaches, athletes and parents. We want to put it's important that we put the interest of the sport first. At this point in time, we're all custodians of our sport. We have an obligation to leave our sport in a better place for future generations. And we're of the view that aligning the age group determination date improves the attractiveness of athletics as a sport to participate and compete in. Well, back in August 2017, only a few short months ago, this same motion was put to the floor for a vote by our centres at the AGM. And our centres defeated the motion. Since that time, and as a consequence of that motion and the result of the motion, Little Athletics Australia have provided us with a formal notification to state that Little LAVic will not be able to affiliate with Little Athletics Australia beyond their 17-18 season. Pretty significant. So therefore, we're putting it to a vote again at the special general meeting. And at the SGM, 75% of the centre delegates have to vote for the motion for it to be successful. Right, so it's worth spelling out what some of the consequences of this is in the event that the motion is actually defeated. So these consequences include the removal of Little Athletics Victoria's right to use the brand and the name Little Athletics Victoria. Pretty significant. So we need to remove, and that includes the use of the word Little Athletics and the use of our brand in all our activities, the removal of all our logos from jerseys, from marquees, from websites, from stationery. This includes centre club names, it includes websites, and a whole range of different things which will be trademarked to Little Athletics Australia. Another consequence is that we stand to lose our connection with our rich heritage, in some cases going back 50 years and more for some centres and clubs. If we can't use the title Little Athletic Victoria, then we stand to sever that connection potentially. There's other risks in terms of the potential for loss of sponsorship. Victoria will be separated effectively from its other state colleagues in other states, and so therefore we don't have arguably the same sponsorship pool as what we might do if we were part of the national federation. The costs associated with the creating of a new identity and association and governance requirements, the removal, the need to remove all of our brand and logos and things are pretty significant too. That's a lot of work for us in the state office and for you out there in centres and regions, and potentially too for parents. So the removal of our eligibility to participate in all Little Athletics Australia activities is pretty significant. This would include ability to participate in ALACs, the National Championships, and our National Under 15 camp. Okay, so why can't this change be phased in starting with under 6 athletes and roll it through over a 10-year period? Well, a phasing in approach will take an unacceptably long period of time. The process is not aligned with the rule approved by Little Athletics Australia. Therefore, if we did do that, this process would actually preclude Little LAVic from actually meeting its affiliation requirements. Will the change in age group negatively impact your child and they're now competing against athletes who are older than them? Well, yes, the change in registration date will impact some athletes who have gone from being an older age athlete in one age group to a younger age athlete in a different age group. The reality is that every age group has older and younger athletes. The change may affect your child's competitiveness relative to others in a higher age group. However, it won't affect their PBs, and in fact it may improve their PBs. Well, we recognise that some athletes will experience new events and conditions for the first time, just like athletes completely new to Little Ass. However, some of the athletes may have already experienced these differences when competing for school. Centres are encouraged to assist any affected athletes prepare for the changes in leading up to the 18-19 season, with a plan involving coaching, guidance and related activities in the preceding months. Well, we'd strongly encourage your child to compete in under 16s. There'll be a larger than usual number of under 14 athletes and under 15 athletes moving into under 16 age group in season 18-19 during that first year. And so parents and centres are encouraged to work together to look for every opportunity to retain these athletes and enhance the under 16 experience for them. In situations where age group numbers are low, then we'd recommend that centres look to create a mixed age group, like a combination of under 15s and 16s or 14s, 15s and 16s, bolster the numbers. This is the case, of course, with many centres now. Well, athletes who compete as an under 14 during the 17-18 season will be able to continue at centre level as an under 16 during the 18-19 season. We'd strongly recommend that they do. Additionally, for the 18-19 season only, Little Ass Victoria will provide opportunities for those under 14 athletes affected by the change to compete at state championships. This is a correct statement. Athletes who are registered between 1 October and December 31 will be encouraged to continue their athletic pathway with Athletics Victoria. So will athletes that have been together now be split? Well, the change will mean that some athletes will move to different age groups, which may mean that athletes are split, or it may not, depending upon how your centre conducts its program. Kids are resilient and will cope in the majority of circumstances. Why don't Little Athletics just align with school years so that they're with their friends? Well, School Sports Australia competition is based upon the year of birth model, and Victoria will base their state school athletics championships on year of birth, which is the model we're moving to. Well, athletes have to change age groups on the 1st of January each season. No, athletes will remain in the same age group for the duration of the Little Athletics season. Will your athlete lose a year of Little Athletics as a result of the change? Oh yes, October to December athletes may lose a year of participation. Athletes born between January and September won't lose a year of participation. Athletes commencing at under 6 can still achieve 10 years of service should they participate until their under 16 year, regardless of what time of the year they're born in. Well, no, LAVic will ensure that this change does not adversely affect athletes' eligibility for service awards. Well, this is a centre decision and should be discussed by your centre committee. LAVic encourages all centres to recognise that any athlete is affected by this change. Records will remain for each age group. Existing records have been set by athletes born across all months of the year. Well, LAVic are reviewing all current coaching clinics, squads, education courses and programs, including JDS, ensure that all athletes have an opportunity to participate and that they will not be disadvantaged by the change. Well, no, the competition rules have been adjusted to allow October to December born athletes to be eligible for both the under 13 and 15 Australian Little Athletics Championships in April 2019. Team size has also been increased to facilitate the extended age groups. Well, athletes will compete at region and state championships in their correct age group. Your athlete, for example, will compete in under 14s. The answer to that is yes. The eligibility and standards used to select the athletes to attend the national camp have been approved to be adjusted to ensure all athletes remain eligible. The selection events for the camp are the state track and field championships or the state multi-event championships for athletes in under 14 leading into their under 15 year. Those athletes that bypassed under 14 will have new standards from their under 13 year. Athletes attending camp are required to be registered with LAVic following camp, which traditionally occurs in the last week of the September school holidays. Those athletes who bypass the under 15 year will remain eligible. Thanks for watching. That's a lot of information to get through. In the event you have any questions, feel free to contact the Little Athletics Victoria office or discuss further with your centre committee, other parents, coaches, officials, and the more you get to know about it, the better informed we'll all be. Thanks very much.